French colleagues and listeners, here we are today. We're at the beginning of the conference in Istanbul, Aviation Connect, and we're going a little bit off-piste. And by that, I mean it's not a podcast, as you're probably expecting. This is a product showcase. I've got two guests. First one is Juliana Stefansdottir, who's the product owner for DCS and based in Iceland. And we've also got Stefan Hoeneveld, who's a sales manager with iPort, and he's based in the Netherlands. So we're all joining together here in Istanbul. So guys, Juliana, thanks very much for joining us. And Stefan, really appreciate it. So I think we should probably start with you, Stefan. So what is it that you're doing for Play?
So we deliver the DCS, the so-called departure control system.
Yep.
And Play reached out to us, I think approximately a year ago, end of 2023, where they had some issues in regards of security messaging. They do a lot of flights to Canada and to the US, and that is, the security requirements for DCS are very high, and their current vendor couldn't cope with it, so they had a lot of issues. And that's where we stepped in to help them to get their security messaging up in order.
Okay, very, very good. And now a little bit of an intro from yourself, Juliana. So what do you do and why did you reach out?
I am the product owner for the DCS system for Play. And we reached out, like Stefan said, in regards to our drive was the security messaging for both Canada and the USA, was our drive. So we contacted them, like we said, a year ago, had a kickoff like a few weeks later, and the ball just rolled really fast after that.
Yeah, okay, so we'll come to that now. So what specific changes were you looking from the services that you were being provided with earlier?
Yeah, our drive was the security messaging. We were up against the wall against Canada authorities.
Okay.
Our current system that we were using at the time could not get the security messaging in place, could not get even a connection to the authorities.
Slimy.
And we struggled with security messaging to the USA as well.
And the repercussions of not being able to do it would have been?
Would have been catastrophic. We would have to discontinue our flights to Canada.
Ooh, yeah.
Yes. And we would have possible penalties with the USA.
Okay. And that's the biggest.
That was our drive.
That's the biggest issue.
Yeah.
So next big question, okay, and not to put poor old Stefan on a bit of a spot here, but has iPort delivered on all of the challenges and the changes and also the way it was rolled out? Do you want to give us a little bit of an insight into how either painless or how much of a risk were you facing?
Yeah, well, okay, to start at the beginning, when we started, it was such a challenge just to get Canada live. We even went live with iPort before Canada was certified, and that was not due to iPort. That was due to different reasons.
Yeah,
that was due to our current provider. Our PSS system couldn't get certified either. We struggled through that. How they delivered? Well, not everything. But
we'll come to that, Stefan, in a minute.
We'll come to that.
I got my answer ready.
I have a bet. There is we told them we wanted X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
And they said, okay, we can only give you X, and we'll give you Y and Z later.
Okay.
So they have held up to that.
Okay.
We wanted more. We're an airline. We're greedy.
Exactly. Yeah. But sometimes it's good. Sometimes it's good for somebody to turn around and say no.
Yeah.
Because then at least you've got the confidence that they're in charge of the process.
Exactly.
And they know exactly what their limitations or capabilities are. So, Stefan.
We expected that, to be honest. We knew. We had requirements, and we knew that they would not be able to follow them.
Yeah.
We went into this knowing that. But they have everything on the roadmap.
Yeah.
So we're just waiting. What?
Okay, good. Stefan?
Yeah, really, and also they had a lot of experience with IT in-house themselves, so they know that IT takes time. People think that building something in IT is just putting in more resources and eventually you will get jobs done, but it's not true. We always say, if you make pizza with 10 persons, would it be quicker than only one person making the pizza?
Yeah.
And they were pretty relaxed about it, and they understood the position that these things takes time if you want to do it accordingly. So they allowed us first to focus on the most priority items. They were even also so kind to say, okay, during the summer season we don't want any big changes, so we take a freeze. And after the summer season, we go up with the kickoff meeting and pick up the pace again.
Yeah.
And this was also for us a very relaxed approach, because indeed airlines can be greedy, and we also have customers that want everything yesterday.
Yep.
So to have this way of working, and also we have a very good synergy with the team of Play, with all of them, not only with Juliana, but also with the ground ops team and with the load control team. So because of this open synergy, and I think it's mutual.
Mm-hmm. It is mutual. Yeah.
Makes us work with a lot of, fun to the Play team, and also the functionalities they bring to us. They also help us evolve the product to a higher level as well, because they have a pretty complicated product with transferring passengers from Europe in Iceland to the US and the other way around. Mm-hmm. On top of that, they have because they're low cost, they have a very complicated and very detailed ancillary sales program. We also had big shoes to fill, because we had to also replace their online check-in application as well. And I think the biggest fear was commercially that sales will drop because of this, but eventually it went up. Mm-hmm. It was also funny, after 2 weeks the CCO was calling me and said, what can we do more in order to utilize the ancillary sales even better?
Yeah. So the fear, that fear that they had, we crushed it in the first 2 weeks.
No, that's good. And obviously now from product supply and from a customer perspective, but the people that matter the most are the passengers. So what was their experience, would you say?
With a new online ticket.
Yeah.
Of course, when we started, there were a few hiccups in the migration, which is just foreseen. But nothing major, no major downtimes, nothing. We were very surprised that it was almost like a flick of a switch.
Okay, that's brilliant, huh?
Yeah, we went with a big bang. I think it were 22 stations that went at the same time.
Oh, at the same time?
Yeah, on, off.
Because of the interline operation they have. Normally with airlines we can do it per station.
Yeah.
But that was in this case not possible. So also for us team it was a challenging project, and it was exciting.
Okay, so even more so, having the collaboration between the two teams is so important when you do something like that.
Yeah.
Because it's very easy for one group to sit back and say, well, it wasn't us, it didn't work.
Exactly.
So to share the responsibility and accountability is huge, yeah? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah. And like you said, of course, everything went well, but there are always minor issues. And we're also not shy of acknowledging them and fixing them immediately.
Yeah.
I think that's the most important approach, to be allowed to, of course, not making mistakes, but that there always are gaps or issues, or
things that you just can't legislate for.
Exactly. Yeah. I think we had the group of school people from Washington flying to, I think we were 100 to Paris.
School group.
Yeah, and this was a situation. I think you tested everything, but this situation
we did not test. Backward.
Yeah.
But you miss steps when you migrate really fast, and we knew that going in. We knew that we would not be able to tick all the boxes because we were doing it so quickly.
And can I ask you, probably from your perspective, and benefit to yours, when you did all that and then you did the rollout, when you did a wrap up or a little retrospective review, did you identify the things that you didn't think of so that they go on a risk register or a worst case scenario, so that you've got that experience for anything else that happens in the future?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So it's a good leadership and management exercise as well, huh?
Yeah, we learned a lot. And it brought my team internally forward in knowledge. Yeah. It made us grow up real fast. I mean, we are a young airline.
Yeah, no, it's brilliant, isn't it? I've got another question for you now. Now, whenever IT projects come in, everybody's looking at a return on investment, or they're looking for the types of benefits that can be found from as many different sides as possible. But a couple of them, so operational efficiency first, and then cost savings. So obviously from a cost saving perspective, how realistic was that?
It was really realistic, especially because we were looking at, there were two main things, cost reduction, that we were looking at. Of course, the security messaging. I mean, that was just money in the bank. We didn't have to do anything but change systems, basically. And then the queue and cost reduced a lot because we were running our own system, basically, and we're this tiny. Yeah. And that, I mean, because it's a community-based product and a lot of ground handlers use the product. So in queue cost and training cost as well.
Okay, brilliant.
Those two were just massive. Yeah. And without talking about all the rest.
Okay. And from the community perspective, so operational efficiencies, what one client does or learns or changes, then everybody's getting the benefit of it.
Yeah, definitely. Functionality-wise, definitely.
Yeah.
So we only have one system, and this system is used by everybody. Of course, we give small settings that customers that we can customize them a little bit, but in general, the iPort application is one application. So all the new functionalities they are bringing to us, we will share with the rest of the community. But also the other way around. Other customers also coming up with their requirements, and they benefit from it as well. And in regards of the common use costs at the airport, we can share those costs over the multiple customers at an airport. So if you need connection, we only need one connection, and we share this connection with the 5 iPort clients there. And especially for Play, normally the connection is a separate cost that we also charge them. But for Play, we did like an all-inclusive fare. So they have one fare per passenger. And in the beginning, sometimes for airlines, it looks pretty high.
Yeah.
But if you know what's already included in this price per passenger, it's your load control, your check-in, your security messaging, your also cybersecurity, all hosting costs, everything is included in this cost. So it's a very easy invoice for them. They only see the charge for the passengers, and that's it.
Cybersecurity. I mean, it's a very emotive term, because everybody says, "Yeah, we've got this, we've got that." How challenging do you put yourself under that spotlight when it comes to cybersecurity? And the same question for yourself.
But okay, and now just in regards to our old system, because I'm just putting those two together, because that's what I have. We struggled with the security in that sense, but now it's not an issue.
Really?
No, using iPort, not at all.
You know, I'm going to ask you.
Can't say much about security messaging. It's confidential, and even for me and for the management, it's confidential what we do in order to protect. But the only thing we can say that we are in a tier 1 facility hosted by Travelport in Atlanta. Also, Delta Airlines is hosted over there, and it's not only physically the most secure data center in the industry, also technically.
Okay.
And we always are. I think it's almost half of our development budget goes to security match.
And money well spent, because from my knowledge of it, I mean, whatever the hackers are doing, the industry or the specialists are 5 to 6 months behind.
Yeah.
And it's not a matter of will somebody get in; it's knowing that somebody's in, and that's the secret of success there.
It was also a big topic today on our user conference. We had a whole session dedicated to it. And it's not only cybersecurity; it's also making the staff aware. So since 2 years ago, we are ISO 27001 certified. So that means we have to do trainings. We have test phishing mails in our email box, and if you by accident don't record it, you get additional training programs. So also as a company, we must be very aware that we work with sensitive data, but also that people would like to, penetrate our security systems and layers to get into our physical system.
Exactly, and I think it's something like over 85%, isn't it, of any breakdown is through somebody who doesn't realise that they're letting them in.
Yeah, and it's the most silly stuff, or people like a USB stick they got at some kind of conference. And also those hackers, they get very nifty.
I mean, you can get in through anything, through a printer.
Probably,
You can. You can. Right, so with that, then we've covered a little bit there about the enhanced security, and from a compliance perspective, I mean, I think you've covered that as well. It's
now we're fully compliant. We're actually tomorrow finishing our CPP certification, and we're ahead. It's not mandatory yet, but we're doing it.
All right, very good.
It's going to bring us even closer to our goal, which is 99.9% correct data.
Okay. Which is no small task. Now, as far as innovation and working together, and the agility that brings to people because of the knowledge and the experience and the proof of concept. How have you found that? What sort of examples, positive examples, have either of you found?
Can you repeat that?
With regards to like things that you thought you wanted, and then all of a sudden, because of the collaboration and things that you're finding, whether you want to call it innovation or creativity or just normal progression, things go in a slightly different direction.
They do. Once you go live.
And then the benefits. So have you got any examples, real good examples, or?
On the top of my head, no, not really.
I might have one.
Bring it.
The commercial department. We notice especially nowadays that airlines are driven by the commercial teams because they bring in the ancillary revenues. And like I said, we were live for 2 or 3 weeks, and suddenly they said, we want to do more. What other services can you offer? Of ancillary sales. We have iSales. That's our ancillary sales product.
Okay, nice.
And we have a new thing called Pay by Link. So they're very interested in Pay by Link.
That's a good one.
Because it allows. Normally we only had credit cards.
Yep.
But with Pay by Link, if I'm, for example, I'm a Chinese passenger flying with Play in Iceland, so I get the QR code from the check-in agent to pay my ancillaries, for example, my hand baggage.
Yep.
I first need to identify my country, so I'm Chinese, and then I can say, okay, you're Chinese, we offer you credit card, but also WePay or Alipay. Same for an American passenger who then gets Google Pay. And this allows now Play to have more payment channels, also allow them to get more revenue in. Okay. And this ancillary sales, this is also, and it even sometimes shocks me how much they collect at stations on top of their regular flights.
Yeah.
This innovation is, I think, especially for low cost, essential because their ticket prices are already pretty low compared with legacy airlines. So these ancillaries, check-in, they make at the gate.
Oh yeah,
is very important for them to survive.
One of the things I'd like to ask you about now, because obviously we've got a lot of innovation, agility, learning, proof of concept, etc. But the ancillary services is important for you, and it's also important for the customer because then they've got the flexibility to do whatever they want when they want it with great ease. Yeah. So, what are the benefits from both sides of offering that ancillary service package to all the customers?
For us, it's a stable connection by charging. We've been struggling a little bit with that.
Yeah.
Charging at the airport, you have a standalone device. You have to count down the Wi-Fi or whatever. Yeah. So but now it's in the system.
Yeah.
So it makes it very easier and secure as well.
Okay, so that's important. And from your perspective?
Yes, well, so it makes it very easy for the check-in agent because it immediately sees the allowance of the passenger if the passenger needs to be charged additionally, for example, for hand baggage. So it's also giving the check-in agent more confidence to collect these ancillaries because for some of them, especially for young check-in agents, I was a check-in agent myself, it's a bit of a burden, You have
when you got to confront someone and say, I'm sorry, you got to do this.
Yeah, when there's a rude passenger or passengers that are, I'd say, verbally stronger than you, they can argue. But if the system says, you must do it, otherwise you can't get your boarding card, sir.
Yeah,
exactly.
You feel more confident.
Exactly. Nice, simple, standard statement.
Yeah.
It's not me, it's the system, and I can't go further without.
Yeah. And like Juliana was saying, I remember one of the first meetings we had in Play in the office. There was like this pile of these payment devices that they needed to distribute over the whole network. Yeah. So imagine that as 25 stations, they all need 2 or 3 payment devices. Some of them break down.
Yeah. Or people drop them or all sorts.
And also the cost of this. It's an additional cost as well from the payment provider. So that's why now with iSales, it's in the DCS. The check-in agent, they show the QR code or they print the QR code on the boarding pass.
Yeah.
Passenger scans it.
Knows exactly where they are.
He knows exactly where they are. Also the payment preferences of the passenger. So if I'm a Chinese passenger, I can pay with Alipay. If I'm a US passenger, I can pay with Google Pay.
Yeah.
And everything is secure.
And it's familiar to them as well, which is great. So we've covered now the benefits from the passenger perspective, and we've touched a little bit on the employee. But overall, it seems to be a very positive experience for the employees.
It is. Before we had to do it we had to insert the items in iPort, then we had to charge and insert them here on the device. So it was kind of like a double for the agent. Now it's all one source to put in the system. While the passenger is doing his payment, you can
carry on. And it frees up the time, gives them more confidence. Nice, simple process.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is.
So you must be quite pleased with the way it's gone, huh?
Definitely. But we know it from before we started with them. We know we could really help them, and that's also a bit of our approach. And I remember when Play started, we reached out to them because a lot of the staff of Play worked in the past with iPort for another airline from Iceland. So we already had some connections, and in the first time we were a bit offended that they didn't select us because we had really, like I said, we also with the previous airline, WOW Airlines, we had such a good energy with the people from Iceland, and even people from that period are now working for us. So we were a bit offended, but we knew we could really help them, so we never gave up on them. And eventually, it paid out well for both of us.
No, it's good, huh?
Yeah.
And now, just to wrap up, last question, and we normally ask this when we talk about products, etc. Below expected, as expected, or above expected? The overall experience.
Overall experience?
Yeah.
I was really surprised we pulled the cutover off.
Yeah, so above expected.
Yeah, it was. I remember. I was just thinking about it whilst you were asking the question. We at the time of cutover, we did the USA flights. I finished that off, and I was like, "Oh my god!" And then in a few hours, we were going to open up check-in in Kiev. Okay, it's really happening. And then those flights took off, so the circle closed, and I was like, "And nothing major happened." What? Okay.
That's wonderful.
It was a success.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even though there were items that we didn't, like I said before, X, Y, Z.
Yep.
Those were not obsolete at that time. We're just so glad that we could pull this off.
All right, brilliant. And from your perspective, below as or above expected with regards to a client who gets involved, puts their people there, engaged, positive.
That we delivered and that the cutoff went well was expected, normal expected.
Okay.
Because also the ground handler in Keflavik, what is like 50% of their traffic, was already very experienced with iPort. Also kudos for them because they also pushed very hard with Play to take iPort.
Yes.
So shout out for airport associates in Keflavik.
Big shout.
But what is above expected is the way that we work together with Juliana and the rest of the team. It's always fun. Also outside of work, it's fun.
Yeah.
You know, we have a good synergy, and the mindset I think of the team of Play and iPort is the same. So that is above expected. So we always, when Juliana calls, it's always fun. Always.
Well, this is. We're at a conference and it's about to begin tomorrow, and there'll be lots of reference to collaboration and partnerships and being open and trusting each other, and a lot of it is just rhetoric. So it's nice to see something that actually works.
You are really open. And you see our video calls. Sorry to interrupt.
They're very open. Huh?
Yeah, tracksuits and hair not done. And
mask on the face.
Yeah, you no makeup. So for girls,
exactly.
So that's how.
And you, Stefan, no makeup?
I don't leave my house without makeup.
Is that right? Good
I'm
on
not
you.
that confident yet.
That's where he crossed the line.
Yeah,
That's it. Yeah. No, but seriously, it's really good. So it's a little bit like Walt Disney. Once upon a time, and then they lived happily ever after. So fair play to you. Well done. All right.
It says so.
There you go. No, but seriously, thanks for joining us. Thanks for sharing the story. And it's always nice to see people that are positive and actually genuinely do collaborate and involve their people, because without the people, it's very difficult to be successful. So,
So true.
Yeah, well, good on you. Nice way to start the conference, Salama. A little bit of positivity.